Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics video on the channel. It is Thursday and time for some captains ahead of round 12, the first of the bye week. So we do get, it's a lot easier to loop this week. We can use our bye players because they do not get locked out until till the final game of the round, which is fantastic. So we do have a loop, so you will be able to get a couple of cracks at your captains throughout the byes, which is always very, very nice if you had a lot of green dots. But I know a lot of us didn't, so we're able to loop anyway. But yeah, captains are going along quite nicely at the moment. So I think we're up to, if I'm correct in saying, I think currently up to 5th overall for captains this year on the Captains Challenge. So pretty happy with that so far. So we've had a good start to the year. And I think average number one pick in terms of my number one option is 26th overall. That's the highest among the experts. So I'll take that as a bit of a positive reinforcement behind the captains because my fantasy team has definitely not been too good. So we've needed something to be positive about. But let's go through my top 10 captain options for the win. We'll start off with our top 5. And coming in at number 1, I've got the number 1 highest averaging player of the year, and that is Bailey Smith up against West Coast over at Optus. Final game of the round on the Sunday night, that one is as well. Yeah, just obviously great matchup against West Coast over there. West Coast haven't been as easy for mids over the last 5 weeks, but there's still a good matchup. Optus Stadium is a ground where I think Baz can really get to work, and if he's named and flying, I'm pretty happy with him as a captain option and at number 1. So if anything were to change, obviously that would I'll change it, but at the moment he is my number 1 option. I like the matchup here against West Coast. So number 1. Number 2, I've got Max Gawn, so he's the second highest averaging player of the year. So going number 1, number 2 here. But Gawn, 152 against St Kilda last year. Obviously, that was a game where we weren't sure if he's going to be out or not, and he ended up playing and going absolutely massive. And Ron Marshall still does give up some points to opposition rucks. So currently a green matchup for rucks at the moment, which is good. And I think Gawn's in great form. This game is going to be, I believe it was at the MCG, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously Gawn, he loves scoring at the G, and I think it'll be good. I'm just double checking if that's the case. Yeah, no, sorry. What am I talking about? Alice Springs. So it's up at Alice Springs, but still, I think Gawn is going to have a good game. Go well. He scored well against Marshall last year. Second highest averaging player of the year, and I've got him as my number 2. Sorry about that one. About thinking it was the MCG when it wasn't. Coming in at number 3. Probably a bit high after how he went last week, and that is Lachie Whitfield. So he's at number 3, 132 against Richmond last year, 94 and 88 the 2 games before that. So not great, but we know Richmond, how good they are for a matchup for defenders. So they are currently, I believe they're the second best matchup, but very closely behind Essendon. So really good matchups there, and I think that Lachie Whitfield, depends what role he's going to play, right? So is he going to play as that rebounding halfback, or is he going to play as that high sort of half forward? I think regardless, the matchup is still very good for both. I do think that he'll return back to halfback, whether it's this week or not. We saw what Nick Martin did last week, right? Against against Richmond. Against Richmond as that half forward guy that floated everywhere. I think if he can do that, I think Whitfield can definitely do something similar. So that's why he's my number 3, because regardless of role, I think he's going to get it done for his owners this week. So number 3, Lachie Whitfield. At number 4, I've got his teammate in Tom Green against Richmond. So obviously great matchup here. They haven't been as good for inside mids compared to what they are for mids, but they're still green matchup for either, right? They're amazing for outside mids, but they're still very, very good for inside mids. So I'm still really liking him as an option this week. Could even be a trade-in type for some people if it works for their buys. And I think he goes really well. Has a good recent history against Richmond as well. 123, 115, 102 in his last 3 against Richmond. So good history. And I've got him as my number 4. Number 5, I've got Dane Zorko rounding out the top 5. Again, Essendon, I mentioned before, but they are the best matchup over the last 5 games for designated kickers, rebounding half-back. So I think he's going to get it done once again at the Gabba. Obviously loves scoring at the Gabba there. His last 4 against Essendon, 110, 109, 145, 108. So 4 tons in a row. Really like to see that. And if he can go big like that 145, I think he'll be good. So, yeah, I've got him in my top 5 because of the matchup, home ground, and his recent form as well, 130, 127 last week. So he is in some very, very good form. We'll go through 6 through 10. So at number 6, I've got Josh Dunkley, who's down the list there. He's Josh Dunkley there against Essendon. Again, good matchup here. I like the matchup against Essendon. So for mids, They are, again, a very good matchup there. They're in the sort of top handful of matchups, whether they're inside or outside, and we know Dunkley can get it done on both. And he scored a 111 against them last year and 83 the year before. There is 2 games since being at Brisbane. I think he goes well. I think he goes over the ton. It hasn't gone below 90 yet this year, Dunkley. He's had a few 90s of late, but he hasn't had a ceiling score for a while. So I wouldn't be shocked if tonight was the night that he decided that he was going to go big and have a good score. So he is my number 6. Number 7, continuing with the theme of the Richmond matchup, I'm going for Lockie Ash there. So 73-97 his previous 2 games against Richmond, but really it doesn't matter because he's a different player this year than what he has been in the past. As mentioned, good matchup for defenders there, and I think that he'll get it done, and he's been in very, very good form of late as well. So I'm just trying to get his numbers because like here, he's been over like 110 heaps of times in the last 7 weeks. So let's have a look here. So he's went 114 last week, 110 the week before, 93-89 before that, but then a 113, 118, 113. He's just been very, very consistent. So he's gone over 110 actually, funny enough, every time he's turned up since his early bye. Since round 5, I should say, because he got 100 against Hawthorn there. So he's been very, very good. I think he can put up a ceiling score here. 125 was his biggest score. That's his only score over 120, which is in round 0. But I think if there's ever a game that he's going to go over 120, it's going to be this one. So Lockie Ash is my number 7. Number 8, I've got Andrew Brayshaw. So again, his ceiling hasn't been there as much this year. So I'm just, again, pulling up him here at the moment. So he has gone... So 110, 119, 123, 106, 127, 119, 103. So no scores over 130. Only the couple of scores over 120. So being consistent, but without putting out those big scores. Probably a lot of it due to the fact he's not taking a huge amount of marks. So his marks have increased the last sort of 6-7 weeks. So he hasn't gone below 3 marks. But really to get those big ceiling scores right, we need like 5, 6, 7, 8 marks like a Jordan Dawson does. So it's really you need the tackles other than that. Gold Coast have been a decent matchup a pretty good matchup for inside mids lately. So they are in the green there. So positive matchup there. And Brayshaw's last few scores against them have been 136, 72, 99, and 118. That 72 was at Norwood there as well. So Andrew Brayshaw, solid option there. And at number 9, I've got Jordan Dawson against Sydney. So that's a toss-up for me this week. So I'll go through my captain and vice-cap, but they're the toss-up pretty much for me this week, so I don't have any of the other guys. So it's Dawson v. Brayshaw. So Dawson's 4 scores against Sydney since moving over to Adelaide. 101, 84, 96, 103. So obviously he's been getting the attention a lot of those games there. Sydney have been good for inside mids lately as well. It's been more of a fruitful matchup. I just worry that he is going to be the guy that does get attention again. That's my worry. So I'm just tossing up, do I go a Brayshaw VC or do I maybe go on a Dawson for maybe looking for a ceiling score into Baz? So that's the decision I'm going to make for my own team. But I think Dawson is obviously the number 1 averaging mid at the moment, 114.1, back-to-back 130-plus scores. I think he can go well again. Just depends how big against Sydney. And at number 10, I've got Zach Merritt rounding it out. So good race history against Brisbane, 149, 88, 127, 111, and 105. In terms of Brisbane's matchup for midfielders, they are obviously a difficult matchup there. But I think Merritt, when he's not going to get attention, goes pretty well. I don't see Brisbane tagging him tonight. So I think he can go well, and he's a pretty solid VC option this week. I just don't love the Brisbane matchup at the Gabba, but I think he can still go well regardless. Some other guys that just missed out that could be of consideration or not to consider at all. So Jeremy Cameron, if you did somehow have him, he would be a great VC. And obviously a few people might chime in Captain's Challenge. But for me, obviously not many people got him in Classic. So not a captain option for me. Maybe Drafty could be good. Drafty's a good captain option, actually. I like him there. And Nasai Wanganeen-Miller is a decent shout. He's gone a couple of 130s. Obviously last week was one of them. I just don't know if he hits that ceiling consistently enough. But it is against Melbourne. I think he could go quite well. I just wonder if someone goes to him and gives him some attention. But Nasai would be very, very close to the top 10 and just outside. Nick Dacos I'm not looking at this week. Hawthorn, whether they bring in Finn McGuinness or not, I'm not sure. But whether they do or don't, they're going to draw some attention to him. Sam Mitchell's, he knows that they got to try and quell the influence of Nick Dacos. So I don't expect a big score from him. I've got him. I hope he goes big, but I don't think he will. And that's why he's not in the top 10. Max Holmes is a solid option. Again, a bit like Nasai, doesn't hit that consistent ceiling enough to be inside the top 10, but I don't mind the matchup. If you've got him, he's probably a good sort of parachute if for some reason Baz were to miss at all. But he trained this week, Bailey Smith. He wasn't on the injury report, but we know Geelong can throw some funnies around. So, yeah, Max Holmes for me is a solid option there. Backup captain option, but just not in the top 10. Nick Martin, if you're going for a ceiling VC score, could be an option against Brisbane. Obviously, Brisbane's a tough matchup there. They are slightly better for outside mids compared to inside. I'm just looking there for in terms of like rebounding defenders, they're still minus. So Brisbane aren't a good matchup really for anyone. They're obviously just a difficult matchup in general there. So I wouldn't be looking at him. I don't know if he's going to get that ceiling this week, but if you want to throw something at the stumps, maybe Nick Martin could be your option. Jack Sinclair, again, a bit like Nasiah, could go quite well. I think Sinclair's ceiling is more frequent, so he could be someone that could hit that against Melbourne. Good matchup this week. So he would be someone if you've got him to consider. So they are good. Melbourne are, I'm just having a look here at the matchup. So they're a better matchup for outside mid, which obviously is Sinclair. And as a rebounding defender, they're a bit tougher than what they have been, but Melbourne still, I think, is a good matchup. I think Sinclair will go pretty well in this game. Lachie Neale has had a pretty good history against Essendon. Last couple, he's been a bit lower. Draft, I think, is a good VC option for sure. If you've got him, he could also be a VC, but I think that a Setterfield or a Sam Durham or someone like that will go to him. So maybe a lower score there, but if you've got him in draft, could be a VC shout. Toby Green could be a bit of a fun VC if you want to go there. 133 last week, and Richmond this week could go absolutely massive. So I don't hate him as a VC, but I think we've probably got better options. Then you've got some other guys, speculative guys like McCluggage, Petrarca, Heaney, Anderson may get a Wagner tag. Like a few of these guys could go okay, but I'm not sold. Jack Steele probably someone that I think could go okay, and Ryan Marshall I'm not looking at with the Gawn matchup. So they're probably the options. I think we're limited a bit this week on options. There's some tough matchups, and obviously a few of these popular guys on bye. So this is the top 10. In terms of what I'm doing this week, Baz will be my captain in the final game. As I said, I'm just tossing up whether I go Andrew Brayshaw VC against Gold Coast or if I go Jordan Dawson against Sydney. Currently got on Brayshaw just because I don't think Gold Coast don't tag anyway. But if they were, it'd be Sarong that would get attention, whereas Dawson is a high chance to get some attention from a Rowe Bottom or a James Jordan. So yeah, where Jordan goes to Isaac Rankin or not, I'm not sure, but yeah, just tossing up those two at the moment. I could back in Dawson, my boy, because Baz is my captain, but I don't know. So we'll see how we go. But let me know in the comments below, guys, who you guys are going with be your captain and vice captain for round 12. Obviously, we can loop, so it's great. So we've got two options, 2 bites at Cherry this week. Not Tristan Cherry because he's not playing this week. But yeah, let me know what you guys do in the comments. And then other questions, feel free to comment them below, and I'll try and get to a couple if I can. But if you do want a guaranteed answer to your question, head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. I just dropped the exclusive Patreon Q&A not too long ago, so if you want to check that out, you can. And if you want to get your questions answered in the future on those guaranteed weekly, head over to our Patreon. You get team reviews each week through the Usman Q service and all that sort of type of stuff in there. So make sure you guys sign up there, click the link in the description, or head over to patreon.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. But yeah, that's it for today. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We are just over 100 away from 4,000, so we are creeping very close to the final countdown, the final 100. We're nearly there. So if you can help subscribe and get us that 4,000 goal, that would be very much appreciated. Not sure if I'll be back tonight for a watch along. Still got to work through my own trades and everything like that. So if I can get that all sorted, I will do one. But if not, I'll do one tomorrow night. Collingwood and Hawthorn should be a good game there. And we'll see if we do one on Saturday. But we will have a pre-lockout chat tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Perth time, answering your questions ahead of the remainder of round 12. Looking forward to that. But have a good weekend, guys. And we'll catch you guys in the other bits of content flowing throughout the rest of the week. So thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Enjoy the footy. See ya.